Good afternoon everybody, my name is David Pengelly and welcome to day 3 of my video diary. Today is the 8th of February 2015 and today I want to talk to you about my new winter project, which is an E-Type Jaguar. Okay, so here it is. It's a 1970 Series 2 E-Type Coupe, 4.2 litres. Twin Stromberg carburetors, double overhead cam, fully independent suspension all around, limited slip diff, disc braking system all round. A very advanced car. When it came out in 1961 under the lights at the Geneva Motor Show in front of the adoration of the world's press, it really was a sensation. Enzo Ferrari said this was possibly the most beautiful car that he had ever seen in his life. One of the nicest things about it was the interior, which was really cute, with a whole row of dials and switches there on the dash, the wooden steering wheel, and the rather worn but patented leather seats. So I brought this in from America, bought it in November, and it turned up 2 weeks ago, and I've spent 2 days taking off all the ancillaries on the system. On the car. The car had been sitting for 20 or 30 years and nearly nothing works. All the brakes, the clutch, the carburation, everything needs checking and rebuilding and renewing to make this a really reliable car. So I've started taking that off, and then I'm going to take the engine out. When I've got the engine out, I've just got that brake servo down there you can just about see it, to take out, and then all the hydraulic systems are off the car. I've got to remove the rear IRS, independent suspension system, from the back, which means lifting up the back of the car and taking all the wheels off. And when I've done that, I can start rebuilding it. In the garage here, I've got the bonnet up against the wall for storage. It's a massive thing, nearly 6 feet tall. And if you look at it, even though it's 40 years old, there is absolutely no rust on it. Underneath the car, again, there is absolutely no rust on this car. It's absolutely incredible, completely incredible. Here I've got the carburetors and inlet manifolds, vacuum tanks, factory original air conditioning unit, pedal box, some aftermarket klaxon that someone's put on it, and over here a variety of hydraulic systems, all of which I'm renewing and rebuilding so that when the car is finished, it should be more or less as it left the factory. So that is my project. It's a big project. People say that Jaguar E-Types will fight you all the way in restoration, but so far I must admit that I haven't found that to be the case. Everything's come off it very well, and because there's no rust, that gives me a very positive feeling, because I had one 30 years ago when I was a student, and it took me 3 years to rebuild it because it was so rusty. So the fact that this one has got none of that work to be done really is a godsend. The front windscreen was broken when I bought it, and under that cloth there is a new one which I managed to obtain locally second hand for a couple of £100. I'm going to put a brand new interior inside the car as well, and then really the last remaining question is, what colour am I going to repaint it? It wasn't originally blue, it was sable, which is a yucky 1970s brown colour. So do I go back for the sable, or do I go for something a little bit more flash and non-original, but perhaps a little bit more desirable? So that really gives you an idea of my project. I'm hoping that I'll have it on the road for spring and be driving it around at up to 150 miles an hour, 0 to 60 in 6.1 seconds, which is, I think you would agree, pretty good for a car of that age. Yeah. So when I had one first time round, it was a really big project. As I say, it took me 3 years, but then when I sold that car, I remember having £10,000 in the bank, and that was a lot for a young guy who'd only just started a career fresh out of university, whereas most of my friends had debts or nothing in the bank. I had that money, and my first E-Type Jag allowed me to go around the world for 3 years on an adventure, and what an adventure it was. I learnt nearly everything that I now know about business on that trip, or at least I learnt the beginnings of it. I had a very motivational boss, and it taught me, that Jag, that you need to take on big things. Big projects are what get you somewhere. And although it was a big project, it wasn't a difficult project. I just had to finish it, and that meant a little bit of perseverance. And one of the people I met along the way told me this. He said, another year has passed you by. How many big things did you try? How many days did you share with opportunity and dare? Ah, no, it was not the opportunity you lacked. As usual, you failed to act. So that's a bit deep and meaningful. Hopefully you'll get something from that, because there is a lot to be said for taking on something big and then fighting to chew it and bite it and swallow it down. So thanks very much for listening. My name's David Pengelly, and hopefully see you again tomorrow.